So my first day was Super Bowl Sunday. And the reason that's important is because I grew up a Giants fan, and they were playing the Patriots. The Patriots are undefeated. They weren't supposed to be there. And I'm like across the country from anybody I know and love. And I'm terrified. I'm like giving myself the finger in the mirror. I'm just like hating everything, hating myself. Anyway, the Giants end up winning this game, right? They win the Super Bowl, and like I'm like against all odds. That game gave me like the hope that I needed to like just believe like a little bit everything's gonna be okay.
Welcome to the Sober Curator podcast, where sobriety isn't just a lifestyle choice, it's the ultimate life hack. I'm Alysse Bryson, your fearless guide to a world where hangovers are canceled, fun is mandatory, and we still know how to shut down a dance floor, just with better shoes.
And I'm Tamara Routley, aka T-Bouge, your co-pilot, chaos coordinator, and the one who keeps Alysse from turning this podcast into a full-blown reality show. Buckle up, sober party people.
From lifestyle and travel to pop culture and zero-proof cocktails, we're serving up the stories, trends, and guests that prove sobriety isn't just about what you're missing. It's about finally remembering where you left your keys. Let's get the party started. Welcome back to the Sober Curator podcast, where sobriety isn't boring. It's a backstage pass to living life in full color. I'm your host, Alysse Bryson, curator of all things sober and sober pop culture fabulous. Today's guest is Justin Gurland, founder and CEO of The Maze, a new alcohol-free members club opening up in New York City. I cannot wait to check it out the next time I'm in town. Justin has 17 years of sobriety, a background as a social worker, and a passion for creating communities where people feel truly connected. He's here to share why sobriety is not the end of the party, but the start of a much, much bigger and brighter life. Justin, welcome to the show.
Wow, thank you. That's quite the intro.
Well, you know, I can be your hype girl too. You can just, I'll send you that recording. You can just like start your day with it.
Oh, I love it. I mean, it's weird hearing it, honestly, but it's amazing. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. This is awesome.
Well, this is going to be super fun. I can't wait to get into it. So you've gone from marathons to music to helping families in recovery, building a sober club in a city that never sleeps. Like, you're showing us that abstinence is only the beginning and that there's a big life out there once you put down that bottle. I myself have a little over 19 years, so I understand having double digits. It's a totally different set of problems. They're a lot classier, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So you talked about the fact that your sobriety turned from black and white, kind of like Wizard of Oz, into color when you got sober back in 2008. So can you tell us a little bit about that shift?
Yeah. I love that analogy just because I got sober at 25, right? Like, I turned 25 on the 25th of January, and then on the 28th of January, I was in detox. And so it was that 25th birthday was rough, to say the least. And I was terrified. But I didn't know sober people back then. I didn't know a single sober person. So like my only understanding, if you can call it that, was what was going on in here, which was nada. I was not just convinced, but I was positive that I was resigned to a life of boredom and sadness and loneliness. And the irony, of course, is that that's literally what my life was those last couple of years of,
Yeah.
Party.
So ironic that you think you're going to lose your best years, which are spent over a toilet or in bed. Like, not that great.
And for me, it was really alone. I was an isolator, especially at the end. Those last few years, I was just withdrawn from life. And I had this weird obsession that like, what are people going to think, you know? But what they thought of
what
me.
People?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Where were they? I wasn't even touching anybody. Anyway, so like when I left my apartment that day, so my birthday's January 25th. So it was my golden, whatever they call it, golden birthday. I turned 25 on the 25th.
I think 25 is golden. Yeah.
whatever. But I turned 25 on the 25th. So there's a name for that too. But
Yeah, that is golden. It's when the date and the year match up. Yes.
Yeah. And I end up, I think that Sunday, my mom was like having all of us over for my birthday, and my parent, and I grew up in New Jersey. And when I left my apartment that morning, I had every intention of going home at the end of the day. Like I didn't know that when I was like, that my life was going to be completely altered several, hours later, essentially. And basically my sister knew what was going on with me. She couldn't take it anymore.
And is she older, younger?
Younger. She's 2 years younger. Her name is Julie.
Okay.
I'm the oldest of four.
Okay.
2 boys, 2 girls, very, very close family. But my sister Julie in particular kind of knew what was up. And she said, I can't do this anymore. I can't fucking take it. And so she put me in a position to get real with my folks. And I was 25, so I was an adult by legal standards, but I had the maturity level of a 15-year-old.
I mean, your frontal lobe was just barely fully formed, right?
Barely. And I was held back. And I was a heroin addict, so I was not well on many, many levels. But anyway, I got honest because of her. I end up in detox, and I end up getting sent to treatment in Los Angeles, like shortly after that. And I end up there. I got there at 11 o'clock at night. So my first day was Super Bowl Sunday. And the reason that's important is because I grew up a Giants fan, and not that I was like a, die hard or anything like that, but like the Giants were in the Super Bowl, they were playing the Patriots. The Patriots are undefeated. They weren't supposed to be there. And I'm like across the country from anybody I know and love. And I'm fucking terrified. I'm like giving myself the finger in the mirror. I'm just like hating everything, hating myself. Anyway, the Giants end up winning this game, right? They win the Super Bowl, and like against all odds. It was the Patriots were like the best team of all time, most points ever scored. The Giants win these crazy plays. They had, whatever. Doesn't really matter. They win the game. And I couldn't believe it. And I'm the new guy there. And anybody that has gone to rehab could probably relate to this, but I felt like everybody was like best friends, already knew each other.
They've been there all 20 days before you.
Yeah, maybe 2 days. And I'm like I'm the new guy. Anyway,
New kid on the block of rehab.
Yeah. We called the bus that took us around the loser cruiser.
Yeah, that tracks. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so the game ends, we turn it off, and all I want to do is call my dad. Be like, oh my God, did you see that? Oh my God. And but they whisk us into the group room, and it was the first real group I ever had to sit through in my life. Mm-hmm. And the question was, what is your conception of God? And I was like, why? Like, well, on day one, like, really, are you doing this to me? Because I didn't know what that meant. I was so new to all of this. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, it goes around the circle, and it finally comes to me, the new guy, and all I can muster up is, I don't know what that means, but I do know that the Giants just won that game, and I can hold on to that for now. And I got a little laugh.
That's good.
I didn't know how impactful that statement really was until probably many years later. It stuck with me, of course, because it was it was so meaningful, because who gives a shit about football, really? It's a game. I had nothing to do with that win. I'm not on the team. I'm not the owner. I'm not writing the checks. But I was so hopeless and scared and sad. And it was my first day. That game gave me like the hope that I needed to like just believe like a little bit everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. And
I just stuck with it. And so in terms of like that analogy of like life turning to color, I think it really started, there's been a lot of ups and downs. Obviously, this is almost 18 years ago. So of course, life is crazy and a lot of shit happens. But I remember when I started to laugh again, and I would have those like side pain, like laughing fits. And I was like, oh, I was like, oh, what this feels like, and then started to make friends again. And I just slowly but surely realized, like you said, like life wasn't ending. It was really beginning. And it's been an amazing, beautiful experience overall, having like understanding that transition, that not only do I not need drugs and alcohol to make me happy, but like that shit was destroying me. It was killing me, but it was really, it's just, it's weird to wrap your mind around that. I also had to come to an understanding that just removing it wasn't really the answer. I had to bring things into my life that was going to fill my cup.
I totally understand that from my own walk of journey, but I didn't really hit that point until, I don't know, year 3, year 4.
Same.
I hit this wall where it was like, I didn't want to drink. I didn't want to use. I just wasn't sure if I wanted to live, because I had all the same behaviors, minus there were no substances in my body. Right. But I was still an asshole.
Same.
I was still
3
making
years.
bad choices. Yeah. I don't know. That's super common. Obviously, you and I are very on brand here, in alignment in our stories. So, okay. So when you hit that point at 3 years, what changed then?
I got back from treatment. It was my focus. At the time I had the ability to like only worry about getting better, and then life started to kind of happen, and the attention was taken off of me, and people were just worried about me a little bit less. And I found myself pretty quickly in that same place of isolation where I was just like, it was just purgatory. It was just like, not good, it's not bad. I mean, I wasn't like acting like an asshole necessarily, although maybe I was. I'm not totally sure, but I was just not. I wasn't living. I just wasn't. And I picked up the phone and I called somebody I knew that was sober, which was unlike something I was able to do 3 years earlier. Now I had a couple people saved in my phone that like I wasn't really in touch with, but they were there.
Yep.
And they answered the call, and that was really the turning point of like, okay, if I'm gonna really take this seriously, I gotta change.
And have you been able to answer the call for someone else since then?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the bright spot of my life.
Yeah.
I like, as you said, I started a career in the drug and alcohol field. I went back to grad school and I got my master's in social work, and I started a decent career helping people and families. But it's very different helping people when, just quite frankly, when they're writing a check, or when they're paying you, as opposed to when you're doing it for, like we say, for fun and for free. And that's really been kind of, for me, there's nothing better than that, when you can like truly give yourself freely based on your experience, not because of your degree, not because of your job, but really, I've been there. I've been in your position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally get that. So then how do you go from making the leap, of social worker to opening a cool ass club in New York City? Like walk me through how you get from A to B there.
I'll do my best. I'm in like another transitional point in life 3 years ago, kind of phasing out of that industry, sold out of my portion of the business. And, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was kind of lost. I was kind of burnt out on being on the front lines of addiction, and it was just it's an incredibly rewarding and beautiful job. It's a calling, really, in many ways, but it's also heartbreaking and sad and just exhausting. There's a lot of tragedy, of course, and it's very frustrating when someone just doesn't want to hear suggestions or take advice or whatever. Anyway. So I'm kind of making some changes, and I've always been passionate about building community. And I was thinking of how can I stay connected to that world enough, but not really like in it. And so I came up with this idea of like a high-end coffee shop, basically, where, you're in Seattle, so you're no stranger to coffee shops, I'm sure. But here in New York, there's a million, but it's rare to find one with Wi-Fi, or outlets or clean bathrooms, just because real estate's expensive. People are transient. They kind of want you in. They want you in. They want you out. They want the next person in.
Right.
And so I'm like, what if we change the script? And it just becomes known as like the sober coffee shop, and people can come there to whatever, meet with friends or meet with whatever. And as I thought about it, it seemed like it was a lot of cups of coffee to sell to keep the lights on at the level that I was really hoping to make it. On top of it, anybody can come and go from a coffee shop. There's no way to really control, so to speak, your clientele. So I thought of this idea about a members club where I guess it's exclusive by nature because it's a members club. And there's an application process and there's a fee to join, whatever. But ideally it's inclusive once you're inside the doors. And so I thought of this idea and I just started testing it, talking to people. Some people thought it was a great idea. Some people didn't. What I learned was that the alcohol-free community outside of people that are in recovery is enormous and growing. And
Huge.
It's those people, huge. And it's those people that didn't necessarily have such a problem with alcohol that they're ending up in rehab or they're getting DUIs or fill in the blank, horrible shit. But people that are like, it's not the same as it used to be when I was younger. Or I stopped drinking for dry January and I loved the way that I felt. I kept it going. That community is huge. And what I found to be remarkable is they're the people who need other people more than those of us in recovery. Because when we're in recovery, like we're around people in recovery, which is that's what we're taught from day one. That's my experience.
Agree. No, I agree.
Yeah, you have your crew, and so I start having these conversations with people around the city where it's like I end up going to the bar because I don't know because I want to go out. I don't want to be home on a Friday night, so I go out with my friends. I end up drinking even though I don't want to, or I'm awkwardly standing and holding seltzer pretending it's a vodka. And it sucks. And so now I'm like, okay, there's a need for this. And Alysse, it was the most incredible experience of just trusting the process I think I've ever had, because every time I just took the next step, I just took the next one and then the next one. And then like, boom, we're here. We started to build a team. We were able to test in the right way. We found the location, we found the design team, and it's like happened right before my eyes. And now we're opening like next week, and it's like, holy shit, how did this happen? I blink, and all of a sudden, this place that not only just this place, but this concept that never existed is here.
That's so cool. And so, what part of the city are you in? And will you be 7 days a week? Like, what is the logistics of the space actually going to look like?
Sure. So we're on 24th between 5th and 6th. So it's called Flatiron. We were looking specifically in this area because it's central. It's cool, but also central. You can get here very easily from downtown, uptown, outer boroughs, New Jersey. It's very, very easy. We're closed on Mondays, and we're open breakfast, lunch, and dinner Tuesday to Sunday.
Okay.
And I think what I'm most excited about is the community, really building a strong, dedicated, cool community where people want to be here and are excited to be here. Because the space is you can see pictures online, themazenyc.com. We'll have on Instagram at themazenyc, so you can see it's objectively, to me, it's cool. Like it's a place.
It's very cool. And I checked it out. It's very cool.
But what's really going to set it apart is the people, and the people that are joining and have already put the trust in us to join before we're officially open, which is mind-boggling.
In addition to the meals, is there a place like if somebody wants to hang and they want to work or they want to have some small meetings, does that space exist?
Yep. So the layout is kind of like a main dining room. There's a lounge with couches, pool table, TVs. And then the room that I'm in right now is called our speakeasy. So we'll be hosting private events back here. So we can do events up to, we have a 20-person table, and then this is closed off from the rest of the space. So it can operate independently of the rest. So we can do up to 35 in this area back here. And then we'll do full buyouts on Mondays are available. So if there's a company or something like that wants to do the whole space, up to about 200 people. And then during the day, the work from home crowd will have an opportunity to open up a laptop. We'll have areas designated for laptop, and we'll have hours designated for that, because I don't want it to distract.
You don't want to be only that, right?
Yeah,
right.
I don't, and I don't want to distract from human interaction, which is something that, unfortunately, this world is missing. increasingly.
They are. I actually just read a headline last night. I want to say it was in the Wall Street Journal, but it could have been, I don't know. It doesn't matter where it was, but it's a bar where when you go into it, you have to put your phone away because they want to really reinforce the human interaction, and they have, they've got games and activities to do. So you're not just sitting there drinking whatever liquid. But I thought that was really cool because I think more and more, I personally am like so grateful I grew up in an analog era as a kid, and I know what analog is, and I remember a life before being attached to a screen. And I really think a lot of people are craving that again.
1,000%. And I think the people that are craving it, they don't realize that they are.
Correct.
And I'm guilty of it too, and I feel terrible because I have my son is 5, and he's already, I think, sensing. I don't know.
Addicted to his iPad.
I wasn't going to say it, but maybe.
I mean, addiction to Bluey is a real thing. It is.
Yeah.
My nephew is 7 and lives on Long Island, actually. And yes, he is very keen to be aware when every moment he can have his iPad time, he definitely wants it. He's not going to miss out on that, which is fine. I know he's learned a lot of things with it as well, right? Mm-hmm. But it'll never replace human connection and making things with your hands and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think if we can have a small part in improving human connection, interaction, I'll be happy.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about the actual design aesthetic. I mean, we can look at pictures, but like what went into the process of creating the vibe that now exists?
Well, it's very overwhelming when you have just a blank sheet of paper and say, figure it out. That's not my personal skill set. So we were able to bring in people who do thrive in that. So our designer's name is Adrienne Laub, and I hired her just based on some of her other projects. It was a direct referral, and the person who now works for us, also Taryn, who referred her, she said how easy she is to work with and amazing. But I didn't need much more than that, just besides the personal referral. And so when I sat down with her for the first time, I said, I can handle 3 choices. That's it. Just whatever process you go through, just narrow it down to 3. And it is such an amazing skill set to have that, like, from our conversation, she was able to understand like what I'm into, what I like, what I don't like. And the way it unfolded right before our eyes is really just remarkable. So like my favorite color is green, right? And I have a lot of green stuff, and she incorporated green throughout. The walls are green, it's like kind of our color, but she did it in a way that's like so tasteful and kind of amazing. It's bittersweet now that construction's over, because I loved for 6 months coming in every day and seeing the new thing that went up, new thing that was installed, painted. It was such a cool experience. Now that we're like at the very tail end, immediately we're on the punch list basically. It's emotional, that so much is like, and now we're here, and it's hard to really describe. I want it to feel like a living room, kind of like your home. I wanted it to be comfortable. I wanted it to feel like a place where I didn't want it to feel like a museum where you couldn't touch anything or everything was just so. I did not want it to be sterile, but I did want it to be elevated. I wanted people to understand that like you know what you're paying for, quite frankly,
And if a gal like me is just coming through town, do you allow for drop-ins? Do you have a drop-in fee for people that don't need the membership because they don't live there?
We don't right now. It's something that we've discussed. Right now we're members only and guests of members.
Good thing I know somebody. Whew.
But you know somebody. But we're talking about it. We want to build a community. And so there obviously are people like yourself that don't live in New York that obviously don't need a membership that we want to be able to support. So, if you're listening and you're in New York and you feel like this is the right place for you, just reach out. We'll figure it out.
That's so cool. I love the vibe. I love hearing about how it all came together. I love interior design and setting up vignettes and areas myself. And I appreciate a lot of different designs as well. And I have a membership here in Seattle, and it's a dual membership. So there's two different locations I can use my membership for, and they both have very different aesthetics. And so, but I definitely lean to going to one more than the other simply because of the aesthetics, right? So that does make a really big difference. How many members are you starting with, and how many members are you trying to get to? Like, what does success look like for you?
Success is really about building the right community. So we're gonna cap our membership to start at about 200.
Okay.
And the reason for that is really so we can understand and use the data how often people are coming. What I don't want is someone's trying to make a reservation on Friday night, they can't get it.
Sure.
So we think 200 is about the right number to really understand how many people are coming and on which days, and then we'll open it up a little bit more.
So I know when I was reading through some of the answers that you submitted to the questions, thank you for doing that. I know you love live music and marathons. Like, you are definitely thriving in sobriety. Are you hoping to have live music there ever?
I don't, for the record, I have run 2 marathons to say that I love marathons.
You're a marathoner. Yeah, 2 is enough. You're a marathoner.
That's fine. I'll take the title. Love them though. There's a big difference.
Not love. Okay.
Well, I'm very proud of it. I will brag to anybody who will listen. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have live music. I mean, it's not going to be. Unfortunately, we don't have the ability to have a throwdown. Woodstock
stage and all of that, but you can have a little something. Yeah.
Yeah, acoustic, guitar, piano, something like that for sure. That'll be really important.
Fun. So what sobriety has obviously deepened your passions, and what is one sober joy that you never thought you would experience that you experience now, besides having a 5-year-old and a cool club in the city?
5-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Oh boy, are you even sleeping?
I'm not, but it's not because of them.
Okay. All right.
I think when we started, I don't know if this is before or after you started recording, but you reminded me of this kind of recovery cliche of I have problems in areas that I never had areas, and I think that kind of sums it up because, the stuff that I get to do now is stuff that I never really thought that I maybe wanted to do,
right?
Especially when it comes to family and things like that. There were times in my life where I didn't really imagine that was in the cards for me, and I was perfectly fine with it. Stuff that I get to do now. I mean, this is what's happening here is just insane. This is a project unlike anything I've taken on before, but being able to I love starting something and seeing it to completion. I think that's what I like about cooking, for example. Like, I love following a recipe and then like getting it on the plate. And so I couldn't do that without sobriety because I never completed anything. I never really started anything either.
Right. That's fair.
I lost my passion for most things that I loved. Like you said, I love live music. So I'm a Grateful Dead fan, and I'm a Fish fan. I'm a Pearl Jam fan too, which you could appreciate in Seattle.
Yes, I do.
But Fish was like a huge part of my life. So I went to University of Vermont, which is where the band Fish met and started. And so it was a big, like, when you go to school there, it's just like, it's in the water. It's like, it's all about it. And so
don't they have a huge sober following? Like,
yeah.
Right? They do.
Absolutely. But so much of it for years was around getting fucked up and partying and drugs, whatever. And the reason I bring this up, and I don't always like talk about it like this. I don't know what made me think of it. Maybe I guess it's your question, but on this level is they stopped touring. They broke up, right, in 2004. And so for the next few years, they're not on the road. I'm not really paying attention to music. I'm like spiraling down my addiction. I ended up getting sober in 2008, and they come back in 2009. And when they announced it, I was newly sober, and I was like, fuck, am I still going to enjoy this? Am I going to be comfortable going? And then when their first shows back, they were in Virginia, and I was planning on going. I had a little over a year sober, and I went with my best friend from growing up, who I remember saying to him, "If we're gonna do this, like, I need your head in the game. I need you to, be there with me." And he was, and it was the best weekend of all time. It was just like the energy was unbelievable, whatever. But we continued to go to shows together a lot. And his name is Tristan. I'll give him a shout out. He never took a sip of beer at a concert with me from that point ever again forward. And he's not in recovery. He's not sober or anything like that. And so it taught me a couple things. One, you don't need to get fucked up at a concert. You can still not only just enjoy live music, but it takes it to a whole nother level. And that's continued to prove itself. But it struck such a chord about friendship and like knowing who your people are also. And again, I don't know how deeply I've thought about this concept in a long time, but it was such a powerful lesson because we have too many fair weather friends throughout life, people that don't matter, especially when you're getting high, right? There's people in and out of your life very quickly. And when you get to really love somebody like that, it's amazing. And I don't know if I could, I'll speak for myself. I don't know if I could get to that like level of connection when there's substances involved, because you're numb. You don't feel it. So
Right.
that was a really beautiful lesson.
Well, and I think that's so important. I like to call those people sober allies. And, I think if you're listening and you're new to sobriety, I don't want to ruin it for you. Yeah. So people are going to drop out of your life. Like, it's definitely kind of like a filter happens when you get sober. The people that you thought were your besties that were always going to the bar with you, like they will kind of fall away. But the people that stay around and the new people that you meet, but I have several sober allies in my life that, they're going to be there for me no matter what. And they're always very respectful when they're around me to just have my back and support me in any situation. And I think that sober allies are actually the ones that will ultimately change the conversation the most because they're neutralizing it. A lot of times, I'm sure you've experienced this when you talk about sobriety, some people do not want to hear it, right? Because you're holding a mirror too close to them. They don't like it, right? It says more about them. And even though that's never, what I'm trying to do, I'm sure you're trying to do, it makes people uncomfortable. I know that before I got sober people made me very uncomfortable because I didn't want to confront that issue, right? But sober allies are so cool because I don't know, the ones I have in my life, not only have they shown up and continued to support me again and again and again, but they ask the right questions. They want to actually learn about the community and learn about the process. And you definitely get to see who your real people are when you make a life transformation like this.
Yeah, and it can be painful when you realize, and unfortunately, this has happened to me in sobriety also, that people don't stick around, and it can be really sad. It can be, because I don't want to sit here and like paint any picture that like you get sober and like everything's perfect, because
no, it's definitely not.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
But we really do learn how to handle situations in a totally different way.
Totally different way. And I feel like I'm always evolving, always learning. And the other night I was listening to a book on Audible while I was driving, and it's somebody talking about their journey. And it's not very often that a book like will move me to tears, but they were like recounting this experience of shame. Right. And I had or done something very similar to what they were describing. And I just started to cry, but I wasn't punishing myself for those mistakes that I made 25 years ago anymore. I was honoring the girl who used to be that, but I also know I'm not that girl anymore. And I have ultimately been forgiven, most importantly, forgiven myself. Right. And then I was even telling my mom about this experience last night. It's just like, it's wild sometimes to look at how much growth there has been but then it's like there's still so much more growth to go because there is not a destination for this thing at all. Your problems, as I think I said at the very beginning, they just get classier, right? But you still have them, that you still very much have them.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That's why, like, yeah, 17 years sobriety, which I'm proud of, and I celebrate it, and I think I mostly celebrate to show others that it's possible. So, but it's also first of all, I can't believe that 17 years has just gone by. That's crazy in itself, but it's a day. It really is a day at a time.
It is. It is. Now I have to ask you because we got similar and similar times, 2006, 2008. The sobriety community, especially online, did not exist when we got sober, right? Because social media was at its baby stages. Like you were probably on MySpace like I was. So like, what has been your experience with watching the online sobriety, recover out loud, alcohol-free movement? What has that been like from the chair that you sit in?
That's a really good question. I feel like I have been in the dark on the online recovery community until the maze.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. Aside from COVID, really, when I think so much of it really exploded just because people
had to.
Yeah, people were forced to. Exactly. The overall sobriety, recovery, alcohol-free community, the way that it has evolved and changed certainly since 2008 is insane. It's just remarkable because the days of, and I'm sure I'm getting sober today. I might feel differently. I might have the same thoughts and concerns and fears that I had 17 years ago. I don't know, but it's like kind of cool now, or it's accepted. It's totally different. And I honestly don't think a place like the Maze would have existed 2-3 years ago, even, let alone 17.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. I too, I wasn't really paying attention to any of it until maybe like 2016 or 17. I just started to see things in my feeds and I was like, what is this? What is this? And then it was like, oh, there's a lot more books available. And oh, there's a lot of podcasts now, but I didn't really dive head in until I launched the Sober Curator in 2020. So not so different from, you talking about launching the Maze. It's, and then I jumped all the way in because just like you, I love bringing people together. I love community, and it can happen in a lot of different places. And there's so many people that I've met online in the last 5 years that when I've ended up traveling to wherever they live, we end up meeting, in person. And it's so cool because then it really locks in that connection that we have. I do think you can build authentic and real connections online for sure. I have, but being in person, there's nothing that replaces that. There's just an energy when 2 people come together, 3 people come together, 20 people come together, especially when it's like-minded and you're all kind of working for this common goal and this common good. So even if if the goal is to just party sober, which I love to do.
Totally. I do too. And, how about a few years ago though, when you traveled and you were out of your comfort zone and you wanted to connect with somebody that was sober, but many years ago, there wasn't the opportunity.
Right.
That has certainly shifted because you can pull up a podcast or get connected with someone or find somebody wherever you're traveling in a way that you certainly weren't able to many years ago.
Totally agree.
That's pretty cool because I have people in my life that are traveling to, random places or far out places. I know a guy that went on a hunting trip in northern Canada who was disconnected from there was no cell phone service and he had to be prepared for what happens when the thoughts come or if he got lonely, and he stocked up.
No, it's super cool. It's super cool. I think it's so great. And I love what you're doing. I cannot wait to be in town and have a reason to come by and check it out. So, Justin, where can people find you again? What's the website? What's the Instagram?
TheMazeNYC.com is our website. It's continuously being updated with our offerings. The Maze NYC is our Instagram. We do our best to keep that very active. And contact information's on there. So if not enough information is provided, you can reach out to us. We are a small but mighty team. We are very available. Happy to give tours, show you around, etc. if you're in town. And if you're visiting and you want to stop by, please just reach out.
And if you want to train for a marathon,
don't call me.
Love it. I love it so much. Well, thank you, Justin, for reminding us that sobriety is not the end of fun. It's the beginning of real connection, and that it's a journey, not a destination, and that you've shown us that life in color, especially the color of green, looks like marathons, music, meaningful relationships, Giants winning the Super Bowl, and sober members having a club in Manhattan. It's all pretty cool, and it all became possible because you chose this path on your golden birthday. And that is the kind of glow up that we're here to shine a line at the Sober Curator. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. You can find all the information in the show notes. We really appreciate your time. And remember that getting sober matters. Staying sober matters more. Thanks for tuning in, because let's be real, we're way more fun than your ex's drunk texts.
If you laughed, learned, or just need more of our voices in your life, honestly, I mean, who wouldn't? Hit that subscribe button, leave us a review, and send this episode to your sober or your I swear I'm only drinking on the weekends besties.
And if you have a story, feedback, or hey, maybe you just want to slide into our DMs like it's 2012, well, you know we're here for it. Find more curated magic at thesobercurator.com. And remember, getting sober matters, staying sober matters more. Until next time, keep it real, keep it fun, and keep it sober.